Good morning. Globally, the big development is the newly published US-Iran agreement, now out in official form as a 14-point deal. Reporting from SBS and analysis from the BBC and The Conversation suggest Iran believes it emerges stronger, raising fresh questions about what the war achieved and what enforcement looks like next. Markets are already reacting. The Financial Times says jet fuel prices have tumbled on expectations Gulf exports can resume. But shipping and industry groups are warning the Accord's language could open the door to new charges or a fund affecting transit through the Strait of Hormuz within 60 days. In parallel, the U.S. is signaling a broader strategic reset. The Financial Times reports Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has launched a 6-month review of U.S. military presence in Europe, while scolding NATO allies over burden sharing. On global conflict, Ukraine has intensified long-range strikes. The BBC and the Sydney Morning Herald report a major Ukrainian drone attack hit an oil refinery and depot near Moscow, with residents complaining of black rain and President Zelensky calling the strike fully justified as economic pressure on the Kremlin. In Africa, the BBC reports at least 35 people were killed in an attack on Niger's biggest airport, underscoring the continuing militant insurgency risk in the Sahel. On technology and the broader technological revolution, attention is on critical infrastructure resilience and consumer protection rather than new product launches. In Australia, Vodafone has suffered another major outage, with The Conversation explaining it as a network design and redundancy problem. Separately, the ABC reports a global telco that failed to stop more than 1,000 scam text messages reaching Australians has escaped penalties, despite customers losing millions, sharpening the policy debate about enforcement, carrier obligations, and whether current deterrence is adequate in an era of increasingly automated fraud. While artificial intelligence isn't the headline in these stories, the direction of travel is clear. Scams and disinformation are scaling, and regulators are being tested on speed and teeth. Turning to Australia's economy and politics, the Albanese government is again adjusting policy settings under pressure. SBS reports the government has added carve-outs to proposed capital gains tax reforms, including an exemption affecting around 2.7 million small businesses, after backlash. The Conversation's Grattan column says the government is giving ground on tax and may face further difficult negotiations on the NDIS, with a sitting fortnight looming and policy trade-offs tightening. Housing remains a live constraint. The ABC looks at repurposing older commercial buildings into homes as one potential way to add supply, while SBS reports nearly half of first home buyers feel regret after purchasing, highlighting cost of living stress and the emotional fallout of high-entry housing markets. In Australian government policy and politics, The Guardian reports Paul and Hanson used a National Press Club address to attack the press, multiculturalism and public broadcasting, and to push climate skepticism. It has prompted a response piece from Australia's Special Envoy to Combat Islamophobia, arguing for more informed debate. On markets, there's no specific Australian share market lead in today's material, but globally the energy and shipping implications of the US-Iran deal are moving prices and risk assumptions, with flow-on effects for airlines, transport and inflation expectations. And locally, a reminder of rural pressures. The Conversation reports farmers dealing with a mouse plague may get relief as winter sets in and numbers are expected to drop.